Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jose. Is it just cold in your house, Jose? Because you're always wearing a hoodie and a beanie.
Um, yeah, I kind of have it like that. I like being cold and comfortable and wearing a hoodie and a beanie. But yeah,
I'm with you. I was actually thinking about this the other day. I like the cold, so I have the choice to be warm. When it's hot outside, you don't have a choice to be cold. You don't. Like it's
no.
AC only works so much. So, well, happy Tuesday. Look at Liza rocking her purple shirt. Exciting. She's even got the camera frame so we can see it. She's all, I wore purple and everyone's going to see it. You don't have to wear purple on Tuesday, guys. I'm just saying it's something I do and I love doing it. Purple shirt Tuesday is my thing. So people think I'm weird for it, but guess what? Normal's boring. Well, it is Tuesday, so I want to hear from you. It's 8:01, so let's have some fun. What wins did you celebrate yesterday? What awesomeness. Go ahead, Liza. What do you got?
All right, so I didn't make the camera do this on purpose. I'm actually using a tablet. So the last 2 weeks, when we had that big storm, my computer fried. It's an Apple. I finally found somebody to fix it.
Nice.
So, and I've been going to the Denny Grimes every Friday for the mastery thing.
Awesome.
Yeah, he scares me. But he's just intimidating. But he called me out for the first time and I had to speak it. I totally blew it. So I have a goal for this Friday. I'm going to get my shit together, and instead of him calling on me, I'm going to raise my hand and do it.
I love that. I love that.
The other win is yesterday whenever I took my computer in, I was there for maybe 7 minutes. I don't know this guy and I was kind of leery, but I took my computer, and within that 7 minutes that I was in his door and out, I may have a listing and a potential buyer.
There you go. I love it. Doesn't take much. Heck of a great wins there. Thank you, Liza. Someone else would like to share their wins? Christina? Christina? Christina?
I was trying to figure out how to unmute it. Yeah, I got a listing appointment, not for myself because I'm not licensed, so I can't do anything with it, but I got one.
How did you get it?
So I was for the last year, I've been doing storage unit flipping, like Storage Wars, while I figure out what I want to be when I grow up. And a part of that was going to different flea markets to offload our goods. So I would go to Dove Mountain Market, and they just had one on Sunday. So we went and we set up, and we were just chatting with our neighbor booth holders. And my boyfriend actually was just chatting with this woman who had a booth 2 booths down, and she just mentioned that she was going to be moving to Tombstone. And I was like, sure, let me slide over there. You're moving, huh? You don't say. So we just had a really organic conversation. I told her right up front that I was just getting into real estate, so I'm not a licensed agent and I can't personally help her, but I have a fantastic team. And I was like, I've got this awesome coach that, can totally take care of you guys. So yeah, it just happened. And I just got her phone number. I was like, do you mind? Let me follow up with you. I'll chat with him. I'll connect with you Monday. We did the damn thing and called her yesterday, and she's looking forward to a phone call from Dan today to set that appointment.
See, it doesn't take being licensed to connect. And I'm glad Christina's doing this. She's going out there and she's making these connections in the world she's already playing in. So great job, Christina. Thank you so much for that. I was excited to have the conversation with her yesterday. I was like, you better share this in the morning. So it's unfair that I get to hear the wins before you guys do, but it's encouraging to me because a lot of times you guys need to hear that this stuff happens organically. When you hear something like, hey, we're moving to Tombstone or anything, or I'm sure something sparked the conversation with Liza, you act on it. And that's what this call is all about, is training you to hear those real estate pearls. And I say the pearl thing because you know what pearls are, right? You find them inside of oysters. Oysters are ugly and very stubborn, not like Amanda's dog, who's cute and adorable. Just laying there. Oh, hello. But anyways, oysters, you have to pry them open to get the pearls, right? Well, sometimes real estate, the pearls expose themselves, and you just have to go after it, right? You have to snatch it before it closes back up. Fine-tuning your senses to hear these things is how you capitalize on the opportunities. So great job, ladies. I'm proud of both of you for getting out of your comfort zones and going and talking to people that, you know, hey, I can't do this, but I have people and resources that can. Let's just get this property started. So what do you got, Alex?
Speaking about oysters and pearls, do you know why oysters hold on to their pearls for their whole life?
Tell me why.
Because they're shellfish.
I love it. Dad joke for the win. Hey, right now, Alex just became my favorite agent. You guys, that's all it takes. Dad jokes for the win. People connect on humor, people. So remember this, is people can't be afraid of you if they're laughing with you. So if you're having a rough time connecting with someone, make them laugh. All right. What conversations, topics, or objections do you guys want to work on? We took up a lot of time last week talking about mindset and stuff. This week, I want to work on practicals. So don't be shy now.
What's something that you feel is the most common, I don't know if it's a problem or either objection, like in every deal, something that you see every time?
My experienced agents, what's your thing?
Recently, I've had people just pull out because of interest rates and home prices. We just went over $1 million for a median house price in San Diego. So people are pulling out.
But isn't like the average income 900,000?
I wish.
Okay, so we can talk about it. Regardless of the market, we can talk home prices and interest rates. We agree? Are those pretty common objections right now?
Yeah.
Okay. What are you hoping changes? Great question. What are you hoping changes? Here's the situation. Do we understand why interest rates are high? Right? If you don't, raise your hand. Be honest. Interest rates are high right now because the federal government is increasing to offset inflation. Borrowed money is fake money to them, so they're trying to lessen borrowed money to get, you know, stores of savings and reserve. A lot of people are holding off on the market right now because interest rates are high, right? Interest rates are artificially inflated. It's a governmental thing. Why are prices high?
Low inventory.
Lack of inventory.
Low inventory. Okay.
And
so,
they kept the rates low.
Low inventory. When they kept the rates low, we wiped them out. So we have two separate issues. Interest rates, which are being artificially inflated because of an economy that they're trying to control, which is actually quelching buyer demand. It's slowing down buyer demand because prices are high and interest rates are high. It makes a high payment. Now, interest does not affect sales price, does it? There are more cash deals going on right now than we've seen in most recorded history. Being that people have the money to buy a house, they're paying cash for it. So does cash affect interest rate? No, cash just affects sales price. Now, let me ask you, what's going to happen if interest rates come back down to 4.5%, 5%?
Everyone's going to want a house.
Buyers.
Okay, so everyone's going to want a house, right? Rates are now 7.5%. They go down to 4.5%, maybe 5%, which is a change. It's going to be another inflated boom. Buyers are going to be back in the market being crazy trying to buy houses because we still have this other issue, which is the shortage of homes. So what?
How about those?
Go ahead, 1 second. What benefit would it be to the buyer to buy right now with interest rates high and sales prices high?
You get into the market and you can always refinance later.
100%. Because, Joanne, like we talked about, what happens in the California market if the interest rates go back down to 5.5%?
Yeah.
Where's your sales price?
Or buyers.
Right.
It's going to get higher because there's going to be bidding wars. Right?
Yeah.
So
3% higher in interest rate is better than $100,000 over list price. Just saying. All right. You had another comment or thought?
I have another on the other side of the coin for the sellers that don't want to leave our house,
We're losing you.
but they're not moving because of that. Huh?
Okay,
Oh.
start again. We lost you for half of it.
Oh, for sellers that don't want to sell because and move and buy because their interest rates are so low. Like if they bought at 2.5, am I still breaking up?
You're good. No, we actually talked about this last week. Does anyone remember what we talked about last week? When it comes to a seller not wanting to sell because they have a low interest rate. Anyone remember that conversation?
Is that where they can have the buyer potentially assume that interest rate?
Well, there's a benefit there, but it's more so the objection from the seller saying, "Hey, Jalen, I don't want to sell my house because why would I sell? I got a 2.5% interest rate, and why would I go get one for 7.5%?"
They have like interest lock. Is that what we were talking about?
Yeah, we can't really get interest lock because it's already gone. That 2.5% was a hyper rare situation that was actually only here for like 2 weeks. And we look at this, and you should tell them if you're going to buy a house at 7% versus 2.5%, it doesn't make sense to do so. Why would you sell your house? Well, let me ask you this, Joanne. What's making you want to look at other houses anyways?
Right. Like if my motivation was high enough, I guess it would not force me, but it'd make it more appealing. Like if I was like an old person and I wanted a 1-story instead of a 2-story because my knees are bad, then yeah, then I'd have to pay the extra 5, right? So because it's a health thing. The only thing I can think of is just motivation.
It's 100% right. People will do things for lifestyle that don't make logical sense. So we have to ask questions about the lifestyle. What is moving going to do for you? What is staying there going to do for you? Help me understand why you're looking to buy or sell in the first place. When we uncover motivation, we unlock a whole lot of opportunity in conversation. Joanna, you're right. It doesn't make any sense for you to sell your house. You have 2.5% interest rate. But what is it going to cost you to continue to live here?
So it's like, just depends on the seller. Like if you're like an investor, probably not. Like if it's not going to be like a positive cash flow situation, but okay. Just thinking out loud.
That's what we want. I want you guys to think out loud because I see some head nods on the call, which means people are listening and connecting to this. This is not just a one-on-one conversation. I want you guys to listen, partake, give advice, give thoughts, because it allows us to change the way we think about these processes and handle the objections better. What do you got, Gio?
I think it's important and it's obvious that we need to know our facts, right? Like interest rates and this and that, but absolutely asking the right questions. And on top of asking the right questions, how to ask the questions is, I think for me, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know, it's the most important thing. You have to ask questions. You have to be, you have to look for information, right?
That's our whole
job. Anybody can know because anybody can know the facts, right? The interest rates and this is why and this is why. But if you can't articulate that, and if you can't ask questions, what good does it do? I think.
And let me add one more layer to that, Giovanni. It doesn't even matter if you know the facts, how to articulate it. You have to make it make sense to the person you're talking to. How does this affect them? Right? Remember the acronym with them. What's in it for me? We have to look at things and we have to identify that, in fact, what we're talking about, what objection we're handling, what information we're providing, what resource that we're going to give them all has a reason. And what's in it for them? What does this information do for you? What does this reality do for you? What does this change in your life? We are logic-based creatures. We like to come up with the logical. I did this because of that. Tell me why you did that, right? When we have kids, why did you do that? Why did you punch your brother? Why did you slap your sister, right? All these things. We want to understand the why. For those of you who don't have kids, you will learn soon enough. But you have to identify what makes them tick, right? And that's, what is your motivation, right? I want to sell my house, like Joanna was saying, I need a single story house because I got bad knees. Okay. Well, what else are you looking for? It sounds like you're trying to live an independent life still. A lot of elderly people, do they feel like they're losing their independence because they can no longer get around their home? or the house is too big for them to take care of. These are all things that are pressing lifestyle. And like I said a bunch of times, it's my tagline, I think, is lifestyle over logic. Because when people have a lifestyle need, we don't talk about the logical. It doesn't make sense to sell your house. Why would you sell the house you have a super low payment in to go buy something more expensive that's smaller at a high interest rate? It doesn't make any sense. But let me ask you this. What would the new house do for you? And then shut up and listen. I do a lot of pauses on this call because I'm trying to show you the power of the silence. Anyone else feel awkward when I ask a question and don't talk? You feel like you have to say something. So interest rate, sales price. If we're talking interest rates, and people are like, I need the logic to understand. Okay, it doesn't make any sense right now to buy at interest rate. Do you mind if I tell you a fact? The reality of the situation is interest rates are the average right now as they were in the last 30 years. We're at where they should have been the entire time. The 3-4%, hell, even in some of the 5% were a fluke to encourage stability in the market. It backfired. Now we have a housing shortage. That is what's driving sales prices. So let me ask you this, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer. Would you rather buy a house now that you like, that you know the price of and the interest rate with the chance of it going down? Or do you want to wait for interest rates to go down and the prices to skyrocket again?
I think another important thing to remember is that you're also an advisor. So give them some options. Maybe they don't need to sell that house at all to buy another one. Maybe if they have a 2.5% rate, their payment is $1,700, $1,500 a month, and they could rent that house for $2,300, $2,500 a month and still buy a new house with you. Now you've created an additional revenue stream for those people, and you've put them into a new house where their lifestyle is more comfortable, and they're going to refer you to everybody that they know. Our
number one job as a real estate agent is providing perspective. And you do so by being able to understand their point of views and where they want to go. And Amanda's completely right. If you give them advice on, hey, why don't you do this instead? Take that money you put in here and buy this house and rent it out and have a cash flow. And this is what you should be able to net from it. And then you take that money and you can buy another house. Even though the prices are high and the rates are high, this is what your monthly is going to look like. And this is what your lifestyle is going to look like with the rent offset here. It's $50 more a month to have the lifestyle you want. Plus, you have another investment that you can give to your kids.
Well, you're building equity in 2 properties now. It's generational. But also, you know, if that new house is going to cost an extra $500-$700 a month, you just made them an extra $500 or $700 a month. So you just covered the difference. And the number one objection you're going to get is, I need the money out of my current house in order to buy the new house. And that's easily solvable because almost every lender right now is offering, they're not even home equity loans. They're like instant equity. So within 5 days, you can go to these lenders. It's all done with AI. They literally do an appraisal and they have cash in 5 days. So, and they've taken it out, and it's a fixed rate over a set term, and they get to pick the term if they want 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And now they use that $700 a month that they made in rent, $500 a month, whatever it is. They put that toward that second. They have it paid off pretty quickly. And now they have the 2 houses that they need, and they're making money. So look what you just did for them. So like, your job is not just to help people buy and sell houses, but it's to help people generate wealth and build legacies.
That was actually my next question about the home equity loan. And there was something I saw, an ad about it on Instagram about HEA. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's basically, like you said, taking your home equity out and using that as a loan and paying yourself back.
Yep.
Yeah, it's borrowing against the equity in the home you have. If they bought a house a few years ago, and this is before the COVID up boom, they're probably sitting on $100,000 of equity at least.
At least.
At least. Like my houses, I bought literally March, April 7th I closed. So in March, when COVID started, I bought at the top of the market. It was the most expensive house in that neighborhood at $253,000 at the time. That house is worth $380,000 right now. So $130,000 in a blink. And I bought at the top of the market at the time. If someone had bought a year prior, they probably would have bought that house for $190,000, maybe $200,000, maybe. So the people that are in situations typically is, if we're talking elderly, this is a great opportunity for you to provide resources to those who are actually more, you know, marginalized in real estate, is providing them a resource in care. There are what they call family opportunity loans, where you can help your family member buy a house near you, and you don't have to have the big 20 or 25% down payments for like an investment home, because it's a family member opportunity place where you can utilize their credit money and your credit money to help them buy a property close to you and have care at home versus putting them in a care home. That's one opportunity, but it's, again, providing resources, providing a value there. Talk to your lending partners and ask them, hey, do you know about these resources?
That's what I was going to say too, Dan. I just had my lender create books and they're amazing, but basically it's a book of like every loan program that they have, so that, you know, our team could sit down and really look through the different loan programs and try and learn about the different loan programs, because there's some pretty cool stuff that's being offered right now. And there's no way that as agents, we know all of it that's out there.
And then, are you still working with Steve Lemons?
No.
Who's your lender on that one?
Tina at Cross Country did that one for me.
Oh, badass. So guys, your strategic partners out there, your lenders, your title company, your home inspectors, all these people will provide you the resources that they have. And like Amanda said, get a book, get together and learn about these so you can talk about them. We had a lighthouse program for like 6 weeks here in Tucson where you could buy a house and there was some down payment assistance provided to you through a second mortgage. They only had a certain amount of funds and it was pulled.
Yeah, Dan, out of curiosity, when you actually looked into that lighthouse, there was some really negative tax implications.
It was a nasty program. It was good on the surface, but it wasn't good for the long term.
That's why it's good to have good lenders, because Tina actually, she called and said, hey, I know I sent this to you. Stop. Let me walk you through why it's bad.
Yeah. Well, I would
too
love
good
to
to be
talk
true.
Tina. So I'd love to talk to Tina and get some more information, because if she's providing great resources, we want more great resources. And the thing is, guys, there's a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of resources out there. So when people are stuck on the objection for interest rates, here's one thing. If you buy now, the interest rate is 7.5%, what's going to happen in 2 years when they go to 9%? You're going to look like a genius because you bought low. Okay. Now the opposite happens. Let me ask you this. If you bought a house right now, top of the market, interest rate 7.5%, but next year interest rates go to 5%. What are you going to do?
Have a lot of equity in your house because the prices are going to go way up.
You're going to have equity because the prices are just skyrocketing, because we know it's going to create more buyer demand. But also, what can you do in that situation, Bree?
Refi.
Yes. You're married to the house, you're dating the rate. Married to the house, dating the rate. Because if prices go up, can you get, you know, that the house of the value went down, I want you to adjust my mortgage. They stopped doing that shit in 2009, 2010. I doubt we're going to see a massive crash again like we see there, where their houses were halved in value. My dad lost one. $450,000 purchase price that he turned around and short sold for $235,000. That house right now is selling for $580,000. It's insane how the market. But the thing is he lost it. He had a short sale. He had 7 years of bad time trying to buy a house. That was back when I was 19. This is the reason I got into real estate, is to help people out. My dad got screwed. Hell, there's a lender in Tucson I won't work with because she's the reason my dad got screwed. It's funny that she actually sent me a message a couple months ago asking me to go to lunch, and I said, I don't have time. And she's like, you can't really hold that situation with your dad over my head forever, can you? Yes, I can. And I plan to, actually. It's been 18 years. I'm not letting it go. So interest rates are fluctuating. They go up, they go down. If they go down long enough, you can refinance. If interest rates go down, prices, they go up. Do they go up? And they stay up. Because we all thought, you know, after COVID, prices would start coming back down. Everyone was hopeful for it. Myself, yourself, your buyers, your sellers, right? What's happened? Have prices fallen?
I tell people they're just collecting dust right now.
Yeah. I had a house on the market for 31 days, not a single offer, no action. We lowered the price where I wanted to originally list it. I told them you got 4 weeks before we change it. Dropped the price to $335 versus $340, which the house down the street sold for $340, so per comp, but I knew the market was shifting. One weekend got 5 offers, all of them above 335. 335 doesn't sound impressive to you California people because that's, you know what, an apartment underneath the freeway to you. However, but here in Tucson, it goes to show that like there's still a ton of buyer demand when things are settled right. And if you got a seller that's not getting things out there, you can incentivize the same thing that the builders are doing. Instead of lowering the sales price $50,000, offer $10,000 in credit to buy down the rate. Provide a 3-2-1 or a 2-1 buy down. Gary Keller put out a couple of playbooks for us. They are on KW Connect. You can go find them. It's the mortgage playbook, has a bunch of different mortgage hacks that you can find out resources. My advice to you, and to pair it off what Amanda did, is get with your local lending partner. This is the person you send deals to, the person you talk to most, and have them educate you a little bit. I go to lunch with one of my lenders at least once a month. And it's a social event. We sit and we talk, we bullshit, but also he's letting me know what's going on in the market, let me go what's on changing, and helping me understand some of the moving parts on the lending side. The more educated you are to what's happening in that space, are you easier to provide perspective to the buyers and sellers you're dealing with? Did you guys know that right now mortgage applications are at almost a 30-year low? So if less people are getting mortgages and we still have a buyer and housing demand issue, there's got to be a lot of cash investors out there, or a lot of cash buyers. Depending on what your buyers and sellers want to do and what the house is going to do for them, what selling is going to do for them, we can help create the path through understanding their motivation.
I think one of the best responses to the rates are too high is just kind of turn it around and ask them, well, what rate would make you happy? What rate would you buy a house?
3%.
Right.
I can't.
Well, as soon as my DeLorean's ready, I will let you know.
All right. Any other questions, thoughts? Great conversation today, guys. Did you take something of value away from this? Remember, logic does not exist over lifestyle. So it's lifestyle over logic. When people have a lifestyle change, it's going to affect them. You're able to help them do things that don't make sense because it's their motivation. It's what they want out of life. And if you understand that, all you have to do is provide perspective of how it's going to affect them in the positive. Give people a way out of a bad situation. Till then, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Well, for those of you in Tucson, I hope you enjoyed the wicked storm last night. That was good stuff. So, big high five.